Ooh, what is up, guys? It is Flash, back with some more charts, another video. It's Friday, June 27, about 8:30 a.m. Eastern. Happy Friday, happy weekend. We made it, guys. On to the next one. Wanted to get this video out to you guys early because I am expecting some crazy price action to occur. And I have, I think, some charts and indicators to back it up. So let's dive in. We're going to look at Bitcoin. We're going to look at Bitcoin measured in gold, silver, oil. We're going to look at MSTR measured in gold, silver, oil, Bitcoin. We got some other charts at the end that I want to show you guys that I think are breaking out. So let's just start out Bitcoin. I'm trying to chart the course, especially for the members, on a daily video that I drop every morning at around 8 a.m. Eastern. So this is kind of like what you could expect every single day. Just trying to identify some new tickers, some new ratios to look at, some momentum breakouts, where we're at every single day. So if you guys want to do that, feel free to subscribe on YouTube or join the membership on YouTube. Should be linked below the video on YouTube. So here we go, Bitcoin on the daily time frame. Again, I got these corridors lined up, these blue bands. We have a yellow consolidation period. Trying to map out the course for what I think is going to occur here. So here's what I'm expecting for this summer into September, October, November. And so when we overlay M2, I've adjusted the overlay, the offset, to an 84-day offset. That is because the 30, 60, 90 average, the 62.8% is the highest, right? I was operating at a 94 or 95-day offset, but I got to adjust and keep the data. I got to back it up with data, right? So here we go with the 84-day offset. I'm expecting this to rise. And so when we also look at gold, I adjusted it to an 88-day offset. What I've been telling the members is, gold and M2 are kind of going hand in hand, right? Gold sniffs out liquidity conditions in real time. M2 really are the liquidity conditions. So I think they really do go hand in hand. And so, gold, jumped ahead real quick. So gold is, finding its own unique path in these corridors, right, with the M2. I do think Bitcoin is also going to have its own unique path in these corridors, right? Like, it's not going to be a perfect day-for-day match. We just want to generally sense the direction. So I think this is kind of what lies ahead for Bitcoin specifically. Now, when we look at I have some forward-looking indicators here. So this is the rate of change of M2, rate of change of gold, again, pushed forward with these offsets. And then on the bottom here, you have your current rate of change of Bitcoin. And then here's the distance percentage from the moving average. So this is kind of a similar indicator, but a little bit different, a little bit quicker moving. So just wanted to note, in trading, the rate of change is a momentum indicator that measures the percentage change in a security's price over a specific period. It essentially shows how quickly the price is changing, indicating the strength and direction of the price movement. So what my thinking is here, if we can push the rate of change forward to match up with these offsets, we could, in addition to the overlay, have a sense of momentum and energy and direction. And so as you can see, when the rate of change goes negative, M2, gold, and then Bitcoin looks like it follows suit, once that rate of change goes negative, you can probably expect Bitcoin to lose some steam and even decrease in price, right? And when it goes positive, the positive rate of change, positive price action, positive percentage moves, right? So what I'm thinking here is, there is a little bit of a breakdown here, what I'm sensing, later this summer. But I really think that's probably just another consolidation period, hence these another horizontal sideways chop. But it looks like we're breaking out again, right? So M2 looks like it wants to break out of this descending resistance line. Gold's doing the same thing. So that says to me, like, hey, we're probably there's not going to be a huge dip, right, in Bitcoin later this summer. I think we're just going to consolidate a little bit and then continue up this corridor, the second corridor. But this is just speculation. Like, I don't know if this is going to be that steep, right? That's just kind of me saying, hey, we're getting near the end of the rainbow wave, the end of the bull cycle. I usually would expect some sort of blow off top. But we're going to keep following this on a daily basis, and we're going to think, if this goes into 2026, we're going to have some hopefully forward-looking indicators to rely on and to project, right? So that's kind of the idea. When we look at Bitcoin measured in gold, again, we haven't even gotten started yet. We haven't even broken out against gold. So, we have such tailwinds, I think, in our future. Like, this is going to continue and it's going to be aggressive. And I think it's going to catch a lot of people off guard. When we look at Bitcoin measured in silver, Again, this thing is just filled with accumulations, cup and handles, inverse head and shoulders, and it hasn't even really gotten started yet, guys. So really super exciting times. And then Bitcoin measured in crude oil futures. I mean, this is just a superior asset class, right? It's finite. It's a new monetary system. It is blowing minds. It's blowing my mind every single day. And the more I read, the more I watch content, the more I digest this information. So lucky to be sharing these charts with you guys. So when we look at MSTR, again, we're in this parabola, we're in these orange bands. Using this ballistic acceleration model for MicroStrategists, we can generally gauge some price action, some price targets based on what Bitcoin's price will be. So that model right now has Bitcoin 150K, $1,100 MSTR. So I think that's kind of our first stair step, right? And I think we're getting there. When we look at MSTR on the daily, we have our distance percentage from the moving average. Again, not visible on the screen. I just want to look at the energy, the momentum. So I think once we get out of this horizontal line, that's truly when the move will be in full swing, as it did back here. We have our ADX indicator. So when this white line is low, as it was in these previous positions, that's kind of telling me, okay, there's a big move on the horizon right around the corner, right? It may take some time to play out, but when this ADX is low, we can expect some aggressive price action, specifically at the beginning of 2024. You can't see price here on the screen, but this ADX was super low, and then that was right before the blast off, right? Similar to end of September here. So I do think, this could catch a lot of people off guard, sleeping on MSTR, the sleeping giant itself. I want to shout out Julius again on X, on Twitter. He was able to put some standard deviation bands around the M2. And so when you have M2 going up and to the right aggressively and you're in the -2 standard deviation, I mean, this thing could rip. I'm ready for it to rip. I think it's going to rip. And we're going to look at Coinbase at the end of this video. Coinbase is already ripping, right? So I think that's kind of these risk assets. As M2 and gold mature and go up and to the right, those assets further out the risk curve are going to follow suit, in my opinion. And so here is MSTR. This is kind of my version of Julius's indicator. Just an overlay. I have to match it up. It's not perfect, but again, this is just wild to think about. So when we look at MSTR measured in gold, again, we're breaking out of this little descending wedge. It's taking its time to consolidate, but again, we're in this big channel here, and we just got to have patience. Patience is the name of the game. We look at MSTR measured in silver. Again, beautiful touch on this bottom trend line. This was kind of the signal for us to say, hey, we're close to the end of this consolidation, ready for MSTR to continue higher against silver. And then MSTR measured in crude oil futures. Again, a little bit of a dip below this band, but it quickly shot up, right? Because oil spiked and then it went back down very quickly. So going to continue tracking these ratios, especially on a daily basis, if you guys want to join the membership. And then here's MSTR measured in Bitcoin on the monthly time frame. Again, super zoomed out. You have this big rounded structure, rounded bottom, bull accumulation so far, right? It's just a guideline. But when we zoom into MSTR measured in Bitcoin, here's that really zoomed in bull, right? And going back to this for a second, we have this big descending resistance line. There's a wick right here that touches it. We're just under it right now. Here's that gray line when we zoom in. So we're riding up this yellow bull. It looks like we broke out of this domed green consolidation. And when we pull up the energy, I mean, we are right there for MSTR to break out against Bitcoin. Today is like kind of where I'm expecting this to happen. The ADX is low. The green line looks like it wants to get above the red. And then I think we could have an explosive move to the upside. So very exciting times. And then here you have Coinbase on the weekly time frame. This is something I gave out to my members. But we had a big energy breakout right here maybe a week or two ago, and I was like, that's a buy signal at 290. This thing is like a cup and handle, inverse head and shoulders with a massive, massive target. So the ADX is low, the green line's curling up. I mean, this thing looks absolutely beautiful. Coinbase is certainly on the radar. And then here's Coinbase with that overlay, Julius's overlay, right? We were in the second standard deviation below M2. And this price just went absolutely vertical. It's still going vertical, and this is what I'm expecting for MSTR. I think Coinbase might be front running or leading the way, so to speak, right? And so here's, last but not least, I have Mara on the 3-week time frame. And I chose the 3-week time frame because there's some clarity in terms of the energy buildup within the moving average, right? So we're waiting for this breakout to occur on the 3-week time frame. And we're going to be zooming in on the daily, on the 2-day and the 3-day to find our entry point for Mara. So that's on the horizon. And if you guys want to be notified, again, join the membership and we'll cover it. So that's all I have for you guys today. I wanted to get this video out again before all this price action occurs. But man, this is an exciting time to be alive. And I think, again, the sleeping giant is waking up from its slumber, right? An MSTR going to the moon. I'm excited. I wouldn't be saying this if I didn't see it in the charts, right? And I'm certainly biased to MSTR, but a lot of good things ahead of us, guys. So everyone have a great Friday. Enjoy the weekend, and I'll see you all next week.